After 30, something brutal happens that nobody warns you about. The world stops pretending. Up until then, you were allowed to believe in fairness. You were rewarded for obedience. You were told that if you stayed patient, polite, hardworking, things would eventually balance out. That effort would be noticed. That honesty would be compensated. That loyalty would pay dividends. But after 30, the mask comes off. You start to notice something disturbing. The people who win are rarely the most ethical. The people who rise are not the most qualified. The people who accumulate power and money are not the ones playing by the rules you were taught. And that realization hurts, because it means the game you've been playing is not the real game. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He didn't write for the innocent. He wrote for those who had awakened. He wrote for people who had finally seen that morality is often a tool used by the powerful to control the obedient. After 30, playing fair is no longer noble. It becomes expensive. You feel it in small humiliations first. You work harder than someone else, yet they get promoted. You stay loyal, yet you're replaced without hesitation. You tell the truth, yet someone who lies confidently walks away with the deal. At first, you blame yourself. You think you're not good enough, not smart enough, not fast enough. But the truth is darker than that. You are playing a game that no longer exists. Fairness is a childhood concept. It's useful when systems need compliance. But wealth does not come from fairness. It comes from leverage, from positioning, from control. After 30, time becomes your enemy. Every year you delay adaptation, the gap widens. The people who understood early start compounding. Not just money, but influence, networks, and power. Meanwhile, those still waiting for fairness are left negotiating with regret. The cruel part is that society keeps lying to you. It keeps praising virtue while rewarding dominance. It keeps preaching humility while celebrating arrogance. It keeps telling you to be yourself while punishing weakness. Machiavelli would tell you this plainly. Men are not rewarded for being good. They are rewarded for being effective. And effectiveness often looks ugly. You don't get rich by being liked. You get rich by being respected or feared. Sometimes both. After 30, you begin to see how people actually move. You notice how the rich speak differently, how they never over-explain, how they never seek validation, how they bend narratives instead of submitting to them. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for consensus. They don't apologize for ambition. They understand something most people never will. Perception creates reality. If people believe you are powerful, you become powerful. If people believe you are valuable, value flows toward you. Fairness has nothing to do with it. That's why Machiavelli warned rulers not to rely on love alone. Love is fragile. Respect endures. Fear, when controlled, is efficient. Now translate that into modern wealth. After 30, your income is no longer tied to effort. It is tied to negotiation, leverage, and positioning. If you are still being paid based on how hard you work, you are already losing. The system does not reward sacrifice. It exploits it. People who play fair expect reciprocity. People who get rich create asymmetry. They design situations where the upside belongs to them and the downside belongs to someone else. This isn't cruelty. It's realism. And realism is uncomfortable for those raised on moral fantasies. After 30, you either learn to detach emotionally from outcomes or you stay poor forever. Because emotional attachment makes you predictable. Predictability makes you exploitable. Look at who struggles the most financially. The overly loyal. The overly honest. the overly patient. They are excellent workers, terrible strategists. Machiavelli never advised pointless evil. He advised calculated action. He understood that appearing moral is often more valuable than being moral, that controlling the narrative matters more than the truth, that outcomes justify methods in a world that judges results, not intentions. After 30, your reputation matters more than your reality. People don't invest in what you are. They invest in what you project. If you still believe money comes from fairness, you are outsourcing your destiny to people who don't care about you. Here is the harsh truth most people resist. No one is coming to save you. No system is designed to reward you. No authority is tracking your effort. Wealth flows to those who take it, not those who deserve it. After 30, the people who win stop explaining themselves. They stop justifying their decisions. They stop seeking moral approval from people who have no power. They make moves quietly. They form alliances strategically. They cut ties ruthlessly when necessary. This is where most people hesitate, because they confuse strategy with betrayal. They confuse ambition with selfishness. They confuse self-preservation with immorality. Machiavelli would laugh at that confusion. Now, he knew that morality is flexible when survival is at stake. And in the modern world, financial survival is real survival. Poverty strips dignity. Dependency removes freedom. Scarcity breeds obedience. After 30, staying poor is not neutral. It is dangerous. It limits your options. It silences your voice. It forces you to tolerate disrespect. The wealthy can afford principles. The poor are forced into compromises anyway. That is the irony nobody likes to admit. After 30, you must choose: remain morally comfortable and financially powerless, or become strategically uncomfortable and economically free. The rich don't ask, "Is this fair?" They ask, "Does this work?" They understand that the world is not moved by fairness, but by incentives. Control incentives, and you control behavior. This is why Machiavelli emphasized understanding human nature over moral ideals. Humans respond to fear, reward, status, and self-interest. Ignore that, and you become a victim of it. After 30, playing fair means showing your cards while others keep theirs hidden. It means honoring rules that others bend. It means trusting promises in a world ruled by leverage. That is not virtue. That is vulnerability. And vulnerability is punished. If this makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the signal that an illusion is breaking. Growth always begins with disillusionment. Because once you see the game clearly, you can finally decide how to play it. You don't need to become evil. You need to become strategic. You don't need to abandon ethics. You need to stop letting ethics make you naive. Machiavelli's message was never "be cruel." It was "be prepared." After 30, preparation looks like this. You think 3 steps ahead. You control your image. You detach from moral validation. You align with power, not pity. You stop telling people your plans. You stop revealing your weaknesses. You stop expecting fairness from systems that profit from your obedience. You begin to understand that silence is power, that ambiguity protects you, that being underestimated is an advantage. The poor crave transparency. The rich weaponize opacity. This is why most people never escape mediocrity. They want clarity in a world that rewards mystery. They want honesty in negotiations designed around leverage. They want fairness in environments built on competition. After 30, reality no longer accommodates those desires. The moment you accept that, something shifts inside you. Anger turns into clarity. Resentment turns into strategy. Confusion turns into focus. You stop asking why things are unfair. You start asking how things really work. And that question is the beginning of wealth. Because once you understand the machinery, you can position yourself where the pressure creates profit. Machiavelli would tell you this: do not fight the nature of the world, use it. Once you truly accept how the world works, you stop being angry at it. Anger is for those who still expect fairness. Clarity belongs to those who understand power. After 30, wealth stops being about motivation and starts being about positioning. You can be disciplined, consistent, intelligent, and still remain invisible if you're positioned incorrectly. The system does not reward effort in isolation. It rewards usefulness to power. This is where most people fail. They try to win by improving themselves instead of improving their leverage. Machiavelli would say this plainly: a capable man without influence is still weak. A mediocre man with influence can rule empires. Influence multiplies everything. Effort without leverage is exhaustion. Talent without positioning is charity for those above you. After 30, you must stop asking, "How can I work harder?" and start asking, "Who benefits from my work?" If the answer is always someone else, you are trapped. The wealthy do not sell effort. They sell outcomes. They sell access. They sell control over resources, people, or attention. And attention, above all, is the modern currency of power. This is why the rich guard their image obsessively. They know perception opens doors faster than competence ever could. People don't verify power. They react to signals of it. Machiavelli warned that appearing powerful is often more important than being powerful, because appearance shapes behavior. When people believe you are important, they treat you differently. When they treat you differently, opportunities find you. After 30, humility becomes a liability if it hides your value. Silence is powerful only when paired with presence. Otherwise, it becomes invisibility. This is where strategy replaces sincerity. You don't reveal everything you know. You don't show your full hand. You don't move emotionally. Emotion clouds judgment, and judgment is your most valuable asset. The poor make emotional decisions. They react. They complain. They explain. They defend themselves. They want to be understood. The rich observe. They wait. They test. They withdraw when necessary. They let others reveal themselves first. Machiavelli understood that patience is not passivity. It is control over timing. Acting too early exposes you. Acting too late makes you irrelevant. After 30, timing becomes everything. You start to notice patterns. Who speaks when money is on the line? Who disappears when risk appears? Who only supports you when there's something in it for them? And you stop being offended by it. Because offense is emotional, and emotion is exploitable. Instead, you catalog behavior. You learn who is useful, who is dangerous, and who is irrelevant. Not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. Wealth demands boundaries. Boundaries require detachment. Machiavelli never trusted loyalty blindly. He trusted aligned interests. Loyalty fades when incentives change. Interests endure as long as benefits remain. This is why contracts matter more than promises. This is why power respects structure, not sentiment. After 30, you stop relying on goodwill. You build systems that protect you even when goodwill disappears. You stop being shocked by betrayal. You plan for it. This alone puts you ahead of most people. Because most people still think trust is a moral issue. In reality, trust is a structural one. You trust systems, not individuals. You trust incentives, not words. This is the shift that separates the rich from the hopeful. Hope is passive. Strategy is active. After 30, hope is expensive. You also learn that wealth is not built in public. Public effort attracts criticism, envy, and interference. Quiet progress attracts none of that. Machiavelli favored secrecy not because he was fearful, but because he was efficient. Visibility invites opposition. Mystery discourages it. The poor announce, the rich execute. You don't need approval, you need results. And results often require doing things that will not be understood by those who lack context or ambition. This is where loneliness enters the path to wealth. As you become more strategic, you become less relatable, your priorities change, your tolerance for chaos decreases, your patience for excuses evaporates. And that's fine, because wealth demands separation. You cannot think like everyone else and expect different outcomes. After 30, you either accept being misunderstood or accept being mediocre. Machiavelli would advise you to choose misunderstanding. You also learn that morality is selective. Society condemns certain behaviors loudly while quietly rewarding them. It praises fairness while celebrating domination. It condemns greed while idolizing billionaires. This hypocrisy is not accidental. It keeps the masses compliant while allowing the few to act freely. Once you see that, guilt loses its grip. You stop feeling bad for wanting more. You stop apologizing for ambition. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of power. After 30, comfort keeps you predictable. Predictability keeps you controllable. The wealthy are difficult to read. They speak less. They reveal less. They don't rush to explain themselves. Ambiguity gives them room to maneuver. Machiavelli knew that uncertainty destabilizes opponents. When people don't know your intentions, they hesitate. Hesitation creates advantage. This applies to business, negotiation, and money. You don't say yes immediately. You don't say no emotionally. You pause. You assess. You let silence do the work. Silence forces others to expose their position. After 30, you begin to understand that saying less often earns you more. You also stop chasing validation from people who have no power to change your life. Their approval does not pay your bills. Their opinions do not protect your future. Power listens to results, not excuses. And results require choices most people are unwilling to make. You will have to disappoint people. You will have to prioritize yourself. You will have to walk away without closure. Machiavelli would not call this cruelty. He would call it discipline, because discipline is choosing the long-term outcome over short-term comfort. After 30, discipline separates survivors from victims. You stop being impressed by morality without competence. You stop admiring struggle without progress. You stop romanticizing hardship. Struggle is only noble if it leads somewhere. Wealth is built by those who understand reality without resenting it. And once you reach this point, something powerful happens. You stop feeling trapped. Not because the world becomes fair, but because you stop needing it to be. You know how to move. You know when to wait. You know when to strike. You stop being prey. Machiavelli's ultimate lesson was never about evil. It was about clarity. Seeing humans as they are, not as we wish them to be. After 30, that clarity becomes your greatest asset. Because once you stop playing fair in a rigged game, you finally give yourself a chance to win.